Elizabeth, Lucretia has come calling for you.
Excellent. Send her in presently.
Yes, ma'am.
Lucretia, it is so nice to see you, darling.
You look splendid as always.
Join me? Rose, fetch the tea, please.
Yes, Miss Elizabeth.
How are you doing today, Lucretia?
Well, to be honest, Elizabeth, I'm not doing too well. You see, last night my husband hit me because he did not like the supper I made for him. He's a very short-tempered man.
Why, Lucretia, that is such nonsense if I've ever heard it. Everyone knows you're the finest cook in all of Johnston. Why, you'd make a meal fine enough for James K. Polk himself. Would you care for some tea, Lucy?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Rose. That will be all for now.
Yes, Miss Elizabeth.
Oh, Lucretia, this is just not fair. Too many times have I heard my dear friends tell me about how they've been treated wrongly. Just over 70 years ago, our beautiful country fought for freedom, and still, so many years later, we women have not received it. The year is 1848, and gosh darn it, I am sick and tired of all this discrimination. We need to stand up for ourselves. Only then will we get what we truly deserve.
It seems to be happening a lot recently, and there's not much we can do about it. What should be done?
Oh, Lucretia, I don't know. We're only women. I'm sure that we'll be able to think of something in the times to come. At this tea party in 1848, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Lucretia Mott, and a few other ladies planned out the location and place of the Seneca Falls Convention. This convention marked the beginning of a new era where women were taking a stand throughout the nation. It was to be held on July 19th and 20th in Seneca Falls, New York. At this convention, Stanton wrote the Declaration of Sentiments, which was designed after the Declaration of Independence. This document demanded equality with men before the law in education and employment. Hello, my name is Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and welcome to the Seneca Falls Convention. Thank you all for coming today in support of women's rights. With your support, you will not only guarantee my rights and your rights, but the rights of women throughout our nation. As you all know, we have not been treated fairly, and personally, I am exhausted of it. I hold in my hands the key to our equality, the Declaration of Sentiments, which was modeled after the Great Declaration of Independence. This powerful document states, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness."
In addition to the Declaration of Sentiments, the 12 resolutions were also drafted at this convention. This document states 12 of the resolutions that women wanted for the equal treatment of women and their right to vote. A portion of this document reads, "Resolved, that the same amount of virtue, delicacy, and refinement of behavior that is required of women in the social state also be required of man, and the same transgressions should be visited with equal severity on both man and woman." 2 years after this meeting took place, the first National Women's Convention was held in Worcester, Massachusetts. There were 1,000 people who attended, and the conventions were held yearly for the next 10 years. At this meeting, they passed a resolution that stated, "Women are clearly entitled to the right of suffrage and to equality before the law, without distinction of sex or color." So, Susan, explain to us what has happened to you so far.
Well, from 1861 to 1865, when the Civil War was occurring, the overall women's rights movement was put on hold. In 1866, the American Equal Rights Association was formed, and the struggle of women and black suffrage was combined into one battle. But because of the 15th Amendment, which stated that black men had the right to vote, Elizabeth Cady Stanton and I were upset that women were once again not included. We refused to support the amendment and the American Equal Rights Association. So, in 1869, Elizabeth and I formed the National Women's Suffrage Association. This group focused on gaining the right for women to vote by adding an amendment to the Constitution. That fall, Lucy Stone and Henry Blackwell formed the American Women's Suffrage Association. This group focused on gaining the right for women to vote by adding amendments to each individual state constitution. Our two groups would later join together to form the National American Women's Association, where we went around the states to campaign.
By the 1880s, women were on their way to achieving professional, legal, and educational equality with men. White, Catholic, and Protestant women were not the only ones fighting for their rights. In 1893, after a meeting of the Jewish Women's Congress, Hannah Greenbaum Solomon founded the National Council of Jewish Women. Later in 1896, at a meeting in Washington, the National Association of Colored Women was formed by Ida B. Wells Barnett, Harriet Tubman, and others. Complications emerged in 1895 for the National American Women's Suffrage Association after Elizabeth Cady Stanton's publication of the Woman's Bible. Many suffragists that were much more conservative thought her to be too radical and potentially damaging to the campaign. Therefore, she was no longer invited to sit on the stage at the conventions. 16 years later, Mrs. Arthur Dodge organized the National Association Opposition to Women's Suffrage, along with wealthy and influential women and Catholic clergymen. Although the campaign slowed down during World War I, women finally gained the right to vote on August 26, 1920, when the 19th Amendment was ratified.
So how does it feel to finally vote?
It feels so great. Like we're finally fulfilling the legacy that our great-grandparents, great-grandmother, great-great-grandmother left.
It brings me freedom, freedom. Whoa. Got to get you some of that freedom. It's a freedom.
Bloopers.
And there's not much I can do about it.
Why, Lucretia, that is such nonsense if I've ever heard it. Everyone knows you're the finest cook in all of Johnston. What are you doing?
You're often me. No, that's me.
No, I didn't finish yet.
Keep going.
Wow, you'd make a meal fine enough for James K. Polk himself. Get in here. Would you like some tea, Lucy?
Yes, please.
We truly deserve.
And what do you think we can do about this?
Oh, Lucretia,
The door's
if
stuck.
only it were that easy. I don't know.
Some people are dying tonight. Told you I'd kill you, baby.
Can I have some of this?
We should.
Excuse me, servant.
Thank you, Al. Oh my God. And welcome to the
It's okay.
the American Equal Rights Association. So in 1869, I and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, this is so hard, was combined into one battle. Because of the 15th and just restart it.